welcome to the tea table. Today we're going to start looking at Crown Zenith, and I had to start with the coolest card from the set. Whether it's good or not, who knows. Seeing play, sporadically in Japan, but, I had to do it. It is Radiant Eternatus that you see right here. So, Radiant Eternatus, obviously one Radiant in your deck. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench on your turn, you may search your deck for 2 VMAXs, put them on your bench, and your turn ends. So, that means you don't have to play the basic of whatever the Pokemon is, and you just get it going. This is seen play in Japan with Flying Pikachu VMAX, Shadow Rider. Saw a couple Kyurem VMAX decks along with Regieleki VMAX. But today, we're using the Lost Box engine to play with Orbeetle VMAX. Ever since they printed this card, I've loved this card. And when I actually first read Eternatus, I said I need to build an Orbeetle deck. So let us jump into the deck. Let's talk about what it does. Talk about what you're trying to do. Talk about some cool things maybe possible. And why I'm definitely building this deck the second I get a Radiant Eternatus in my hands. So you start with the starter Pokemon there. Comfy, obviously we've seen Lost Zone decks now. Going to the top of events, everywhere you look. So Comfy says once on your turn, you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in your hand, 1 in your Lost Zone. So obviously, it can get weird if you have 2 Orbeetles in your hand, but I think it's just one of the things you take the risk, and maybe you don't go all in Comfy turn 1 if your hand just sets up for like a VMAX. You like Comfy once. Maybe you could play a Rangaroo as a deck stew that play Lost Zone engine, so you can put the card on top. But very good card, get your whole deck going, obviously. So then we got Sableye. If you have 10 cards in Lost Zone, put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. I'm sure we've all faced this card, been really annoyed by it. And then when we get to the rest of the deck and how it works, hopefully you will be annoyed by it even more. Then we got the Cramorant, obviously, 110 for free. A lot of lists play 2, but I think the way we built this, I just wanted to play 1. Just get the 1 in 10. The 110 in there, and you never know. So now we're going to jump to the Orbeetle line. So a lot of the decks don't actually play the basic, but I wanted to play one of the basics because I was like, alright, so you want to have a Comfy, Eternatus, like Orbeetle VMAX, right, with your ability, and then whatever, so maybe just a basic Orbeetle. Was my thought. I don't know, I've played 0 games with this, obviously, and, we're going to see, but let's look at this Orbeetle line. We do have the Orbeetle V here. It strafes in 50 plus 30 for each energy attached prone to active. Not bad. We got the cool art though. Then we got Orbeetle VMAX. Once your turn, if it's in your active spot, put 1 damage card on each opponent's Pokemon. So, with the way Lost Zone decks are built, with a bunch of switch cards, you see we got 4 Scoop Up Net, 4 Switch, 2 Escape Rope. We got 2 Air Balloons. We'll just get to more in a minute. Do an Orbeetle like twice a turn, if you can. Maybe even all 3, depending how your setup goes, but you just like Comfy. Alright, Scoop into my Comfy, bring up Orbeetle, and then like switch into another Orbeetle, or Escape Rope, and then you retreat that Orbeetle with Air Balloon, and you're attacking with your Cramorant, or just Orbeetle sometimes. Because the Orbeetle VMAX's attack isn't that bad. So it's like the basic, but it does 50 plus 50. So, I mean, if you're facing a Lugia, you can do a bunch of damage out of nowhere. But hopefully with the damage counters, it doesn't even matter if they have a lot of energy or not. You're going to get the knockout there. So then we go to Radiant. Galarian Zapdos V here, 170. But its attack does cost 1 less for each Pokemon V your opponent has in play. So this card is going to serve 2 purposes in the list. You got Vigavolt, which just won a regional the other day. Obviously it hits that powerfully and knocks down in 1 hit. But we also like it because I'm going to skip around here. Usually I wait till the end to go over them. But we got our super cool ability here on Earth and Sealstone. Only 1 V-Star power game, everybody. Pokemon V, this card is attached to, can use the V-Star power of this card. So what's really cool, the way this combos, if your opponent has 3 Vs, Zapdos can attack for 0. Is the way this works. So you can do your attack Star Gravity, put damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon V until its remaining HP is 100. So, obviously, you're playing against Mew, just a lot of, Arceus box decks even, they're going to have a lot of Vs. You pop that down, put them 100, and then your Orbeetle and Sableye go to work. So that's a really cool combo there, and like I said, if you have to attack with it, not even that bad. And then we got Metacham V. Just love Metacham V. Yoga Loop, put 2 damage cards on one opponent's Pokemon. If that Pokemon is knocked out by this attack, take an extra turn. You cannot chain Yoga Loops, which is very fair and fine. Just another way to sneak in a turn, perhaps, after you've milling up damage. To let you take possibly 2 to 6 prizes, depending. Like, you knock out a VMAX, and then you're already ready to knock out another VMAX, depending on what they're doing. And I think this really cool card isn't necessary. I don't know. Did I put it in? Of course, because I think the card is really, really cool. So let us move on here to... we got a Manaphy. Protect your bench from damage. Regieleki, you don't want to be hit by that. Sorry about that one. Greninja. Amazing where Raikou's been popping up, obviously, lately in Lost Box and Lugia. So you got that as well. My bad on that one. Kind of skipping, guys. I apologize for that one. But don't forget Manaphy. Card is very important. So we're going to move the supporters. You got the Lost Zone deck. Stable Colress's Experiment. Look at the top 5. Take 3, put 2 in the Lost Zone. Now, it's getting one of those things. If you go second, it's weird. We could have the bad luck of hitting on the Orbeetles. So, it's going to be interesting if, like, when people play it, like, obviously not with Orbeetle, just in general, if they do Lost Zone Eternatus things, how they do it, you know, does your turn 1 just kind of, whatever. But if you have the Oranger, I think it might not matter as much, because you could take an Orbeetle, put it on top, and then do your thing anyway. We got the 2 Raihan. Raihan just because you do take 2 energy there for Orbeetle and Metacham. Kind of just attack out of nowhere and lets you search for any cards. So you're like, alright, I need the switch. So you're like, Raihan, ability switch, ability attack with the new one, you know, boom, get your opponent going. We do have a Bird Keeper, because believe it or not, every turn you don't play a Colress. Bird Keeper, draw 3, switch. Another way to get your Orbeetles doing some stuff. Even just switch Comfies around too. And it lets you draw 3 cards. Then we got a Thornton. So Thornton is in here because I have the one Orbeetle V. You switch a basic Pokemon for every disc pile with one you have in play. So basically after you play Radiant Eternatus, you don't need it anymore. So you can get rid of it and then like put the Orbeetle V in play and evolve. As long as the Pokemon's in play for a turn, you can evolve the new Pokemon, which is really, really cool. Just remember, you cannot like Sableye into Radiant Eternatus and use it because Eternatus says when you play from your hand. So you do gotta remember that one. And then we got the one Serena, just because I want extra draw / a boss's order type effect. Bring up your opponent's Vs. It can help with Zapdos picking off some stuff. You know, or you want to get that easy, cheap knockout Kramer, and after you've damaged a Pokemon. Pretty good there. So we're going to move on to the item cards of the deck. You got 4 Quick Ball. Obviously, discard a card, get a basic. You see only 2 Battle VIP passes instead of the 4, where it's kind of reverse usually, 4 VIP, 2 or less Quick Ball. That is because Eternatus only works, like I said, when you play from your hand. So, VIP Pass still great, but I wanted the Quick Ball more because you want to just drop the Eternatus from your hand and get the Pokemon in play. We got the 1 Heavy Ball, obviously. It's really important to have Eternatus. And it can get your... You got the 1 Zapdos, 1 Orbeetle, 1 Metacham, 1 Cramorant, 1 Manaphy. And then the Eternatus, so really good there. 1 Ultra Ball. Sometimes you don't need cards later, like the VIP passes, but also... If you do have the Orbeetle and you keep the Orbeetle and you want to evolve it there, you can just search for it. If you choose not to play the Orbeetle V or in any of these Eternatus type decks, you don't really need to have the Ultra Ball in my opinion. But for now, in going into testing, that is what we're going to be doing. Then you got the 4 Scoop Up Net. Obviously, it's going to help you chain your Comfies there. Bop, bop, bop. I tried to fit in a Zigzagoon. Didn't work because you're just doing 10 to everything. And I think... there's no room, kind of, with how your bench is going to play out in my head with your 2 Orbeetles, Comfy, you know, stuff like that. But that's not to say you cannot play it if you choose to. We got the 4 Switch 2 Escape Rope, obviously the combo with Comfies, and your Orbeetles. You have a lot of ways to keep going, chain in there to do some cool stuff and get some things going. And the Escape Rope is especially good if you're facing one of, like, the Wheezing, Eternatus decks, and you're just like, oh, well, I gotta be able to do stuff. Escape Rope, make it bring another Pokemon there, but Weezing, you know, profit from there. Then we got 2 Pokegear. So we don't have Greninja, Radiant Greninja to draw cards. So I did go with 2 Pokegear, look at the top 7, take a supporter. Just kind of another way to dig without having the draw power of Greninja available. I mean, the card's good. I always love that card. It's one of those cards you like never have enough room for. You're like, I could play it if I, you know, if I just had this. But your deck's always kind of 60 anyway. I think I lost Vacuum. You got to put a card from your hand in the Lost Zone. Choose a tool or Stadium and put in the Lost Zone. So if they got an Umbrella to stop Sableye or stuff like that, or you just need another card in the Lost Zone, you want to get rid of a tool. Maybe they got Cape of Toughness that popped up in Reggie's this past weekend, or they, got it on something random, or they had a big charm, stuff like that. Plus, it just helps your Lost Zone. Then we got Ordinary Rod. Obviously, card's pretty good in these decks. Shuffle up to 2 Pokemon. Or you can do both, sorry. Shuffle 2 Pokemon for discard on your deck, shuffle 2 basic energy. So you could do one or both, depending, because sometimes you got to discard stuff with Quick Ball, and you can get it back later. And it's pretty good. We got the 2 Air Balloon, because you want to retreat your Orbeetles. So, you got that, you want to pop them on their retreat. Orbeetle spam, get it going. We got the Earth and Seal Stone, like I talked. I debated about playing one of Forest Seal Stone as well, but I think I wanted to go more on this one. I also thought about playing one of the Ponchos to protect the Orbeetle. But with the way I want air balloons and stuff, I think you just have to play your deck right to not let your opponent be able to pick out the Orbeetles and know, is this going to be a 2 Orbeetle game? Is 2 Orbeetles going to matter? Is I'm going to have time to draw the 6 off of it? You can also play a Hero's Medal, which gives it less HP, but only 2 prizes, which is actually pretty good. Then we got Temple of Sin, all special energy attached to Pokemon. Both of your opponent provide colors and have no effect. That is really good against Reggie's and Mew, because if they have a Fusion Strike energy on their Pokemon, and they're playing that version, you do not put a damage counter on that Pokemon. So it is really important to shut that off and to be able to spread the 10 damage more on the field. I wanted more in the deck. Not sure. I stuff like card I want 3 of. My boy Peter at San Diego played against Lost Box with 4. That's like a dream right there. But 3, maybe after some testing, maybe a couple changes in the energy. Who knows? Then we got the 3 Psychic, because you do have the Sableye, 3 Grass. You do got the Orbital 2 Fighting, because you got Zapdos, and you can attack with Medicham, which just does 100. Pretty good there. And you have the Double Turbo to get a Medicham out of nowhere. So, I do have the Temple set up, but sometimes, you don't have that in play, or you might not. So you could Raihan onto something else, and then search the Double Turbo, attack with Medicham, and then you're like, alright, so I Raihan onto my Sableye, and then I Medicham, and then I brought in Sableye to take all those prizes and win the game. So, this is my first video on Crown Zenith. This is super cool. I love Zacian and Zamazenta V-Star. Rotom V-Star finally here. A lot of those, my boy Andrew at my work, Dark Side Games, Las Vegas. Really excited for Rotom V-Star. We've been in the Rotom V-Star waiting room for 5 months or whatever since it got announced. But let me know what you think. Let me know what cool combinations you're going to try with Radiant Eternatus. Subscribe would be amazing. We're almost at 250 subscribers. I believe we're at 244 at the filming of this video. That's some cool Pokemon I really like. This is the Tea Table. I'm Josh Hatter, and I'll see everybody next time.